Hey everybody, Just Us Scrubs here. We got spirits that made top 8 at our local OTS. Let's get started.
Yeah, 3 Aratama, searches anything in the deck. Super good. 3 Nikitama, he's a double summon and a draw engine put into 1 card. When this came out, the whole deck was playable.
Explain why Nikitama is good.
Well, first of all, its effect to draw is when it's into the graveyard, and you must control a spirit to resolve it. So, not only is that not once per turn, but like you can normal summon, and then normal summon again into a level 6 spirit, and then draw 1 if it stays on the field. You can exceed summon, detach an exceed material, and if you have a spirit on the field, Nikitama will draw you a card. And you can use this, discards a card to add back a spirit, and then Nikitama will draw you a card. So basically,
However, you have to add back a different Nikitama.
Basically, later in the duel, this card becomes a Spellbook Tower.
Yeah.
You just summon it and draw a card every turn.
Which is pretty nice.
It's also great if you want to make an Exceed with Aratama. You search this, and then you can get the Aratama back from your graveyard.
Yeah.
Next up, I run 1 Yaksha and 1 Raetsu. Raetsu can reveal a spirit in your hand to bounce a face-up attack position monster your opponent controls. You can't special summon the turn you do it, and Yaksha just bounces a spell or trap your opponent controls.
Also note that every single spirit can activate when it's flipped face up.
Yeah.
So if you're scared of back row and you want to get rid of their monster, just set the Reisetsu. I've done it so many times. It's so useful.
Yep, Raetsu has 19 defense, Yaksha has 19 attack.
They're brothers.
Next up we got 1 Dark Dust, 1 Feng Huang.
How do you like Dark Dust in the deck?
Dark Dust is pretty decent, especially since it's the highest attack monster in the whole deck. There's so many times that I want.
Deck.
Oh well, yeah, there's BLS, but yeah, there's so many times that I needed a Dark Dust. Just go Nikitama Dark Dust, and use a Foon to dodge it or whatever. Because this card can win you a duel on its own because it can just nuke every monster.
And then Feng Huang is just they go set 4 back row pass, and you're just like Aratama.
Oh, Feng Huang is undoubtedly one of the best cards to actually resolve. Destroys all of your opponent's set spells and traps.
Yeah, and it's funny because when they go set 5 and then you search it anyways, and they're like, oh no, I don't have Solemn Warning, and you're gonna MSD my Fiendish. I'm dead.
Yeah, this card, a lot of the duels I won is because I resolved Feng Huang.
3 Silver Sentinels, but that's just me.
3 Kage, because this is the only card that's going to allow you to exceed someone super easy. Plus, it's a dark and a reptile.
We'll get into some combos later.
Yep. We got BLS, because this card just wins duels on its own. You only run 3 lights, which is the Nikitama, but since you search those so often and you discard them and you tribute with them, they're almost always in your grave, assuming that you actually have a good hand. Then play 2 Trags, because all your guys go back to your hand. This guy is normally 3,000 when you drop him. Well, I mean, you can cover your ass with him, or you can use him to exceed, but he's also just a 3K beater.
3K plus.
Yeah, I've had him up to 42 with Reckless Greeds. Moving on to the spells, I run 6 to draw cards. I run 1 Allure.
8,000 in one.
You run 8 Dark, so this is pretty much really live. 2 Duality. I don't like 3 because when you actually get both of them, sometimes it's kind of sticky because you can't use more than 1 per turn. You can't special summon, so it slows you down. 3 Upstart. This card's great, but it was killing me in time. But overall, like, in Game 1, it's great to just get your Aratama on the first turn. Because if you draw Aratama, you can start your plays. I run 5 Manipulative spells, 1 Book, and 1 Dark Hole. Dark Hole is actually like an MVP for this deck.
Because everything bounces back to the hand.
Yeah, and then Triple Foon, because I hate Fiendish so much.
And with
Skill Drain.
With this deck, no back row really hurts it except for Warning and Fiendish Chain. So if you can just run Fiendish Chain to stop... if you can just run MSC to stop Fiendish Chain, then the only thing that really hurts your main plays is Warning. Because you can just Feng Huang, nuke all the shit, or Aratama, and then have a consistent draw engine.
Oh yeah.
Also note that every spirit can dodge Veiler.
Yes, because if you're a turn player, which you always will be, because Veiler can only activate in your opponent's turn, you get to use player priority to add your spirit back to your hand.
The way you do that, you choose to make it so that Veiler resolves first, so Veiler is no longer effective to the spirit, and then the spirit can activate and bounce back to the hand.
Yes, I run 3 Reckless. This also put in MVP work today because I would play a Reckless, I would get an Aratama, and from there on then I don't need my draw phase anymore.
Yeah.
I play 3 Fiendish because I basically max out on background. This is one of the best in the format.
Yeah.
Attacks Blackhorn. This was a Mirror Force. I decided to change it last minute. To be honest, I don't really know how Mirror Force would have performed otherwise, but I did use this card a few times. It's pretty good. And then, Buckstender stuff, Bottomless, Compulse, Warning, TT. People that say Warning is bad, it's great in this deck because you dodge all the cards in the world.
No, Compulse, not Warning.
No, I had the Compulse.
You said Warning.
No, yeah, Warning. Warning your own monsters. It's great, guys. Trust
Anyways,
me.
Compulse, Book, and Fiendish Chain and MSCs are extremely good to dodge certain things when you're resolving a big effect like Dark Dust or Feng Huang.
Yeah, I actually had a Feng Huang and a Nikitama in my hand, but instead of summoning it, I actually set Compulse into my turn.
Yeah.
Now into the extra deck, I want one King of Fair Lamps. This guy's great because you use a Kage, and then you search
We'll get to that
Kage.
later, don't worry.
Oh, yeah. But basically, the only target in your deck is Kage, but that's just enough. A level chain to put Aratama on the top of your deck.
Because it really is worth it.
You can also send Nikitama to the graveyard and draw a free card. One Emerald to recycle your Nikitamas. A lot of the time, especially if you have this guy, you're going to have yourself in a situation where you're literally out of Nikitamas. So that you just have to run that to put them back in your deck.
Yep.
Dweller, this is super special because you run water monsters.
Izanami and Yaksha.
Yaksha and Reiatsu. I made 22 Dweller a lot today.
Reiatsu is fire.
Sorry, Yaksha, yes. I get the two mixed up. But anyway, I made this a lot today, and people thought they could suicide into it, and then it was 22, and I laughed. You even thought that. That was funny.
Yeah.
Direwolf. I only used this
dire situations.
I only used this once today, but it helped me when I did. Nightmare. This card's fucking hilarious.
Nightmare is boss. I won 2 games because of him today.
Basically, the way you make Nightmare is you go Aratama and Kage. You can use Aratama to search Izanami so you can get it back, and then you can just sit on this guy for however many turns your opponent can't get over. 1950, that book special summons. Cowboy, Maestroke, Black Ship, Keybeetle. Same kind of play, Aratama and Kage, except this guy can put your opponent into a situation where it's almost impossible for them to win.
We'll show why he plays it when we show the side deck.
Arknight, because I own one. Dalka and Lagia, basically because this is how much space you have in this extra deck. You only run rank 4s.
DNA Surgery.
Yeah, and DNA Surgery. And then Crazy Box and Papilloperative. These guys are just here for filler. I would run a second Arknight and an Exciton Knight if I owned them.
Which you do not have at the moment.
Yes.
However, Exciton Knight should be extremely hard to resolve in this deck because you always have card advantage.
Yeah.
I would honestly leave the Crazy Box in.
Anywho.
Skill drain.
Side deck.
Yeah, moving on to side deck. Thunder King. The reason I didn't decide to play this guy in my main deck is because my logic behind this is if you summon Thunder King, and the deck you're matched up against doesn't lose automatically to Thunder King, like a Firefist deck, and then you just bear over it or whatever. If it doesn't lose automatically, and you have to sit there with your Thunder King, what might happen is you might not be able to do stuff. You might not be able to Aratama and search, and that might kill you.
And then if you just tribute it off for Dark Dust or a Feng Huang, you're tributing off a really good card for something that's just going to bounce back during the end phase, and then there's no point in just using the Thunder King in the first place at that point.
Although I might main deck this because it's really good if you have Thunder King, and you can sit on Thunder King, and then summon something that doesn't matter, like a Nikitama or a Etsu, and then overlay with that, and then you have your searchability back, assuming you have enough back row to stay them off. But all in all, I only cited it a few times, and I never saw it. Double Maxi. Again, never saw it, but it's basically for decks that special summon. It's great to draw cards in this deck. DD Crow, again, I never saw it. I didn't really see many of my side cards today, but DD Crow, the basic principle was I could play Fissure, technically, but I don't want to, because then Nikitama just stops working. But I don't know, DD Crow seemed like a really good option for things like, spellbooks or Mermails or Dark Worlds, whatever basically needs specific cards in the graveyard. 2 creature swaps. I didn't play Noble Knights. This is basically why I had creature swap in. This is basically an auto win against Noble Knights, but
and Boojans and whatnot.
Yeah. Basically, spirits go back to the owner's hand in the end phase automatically, so you can just summon any spirit and then creature swap, and then you get to keep the monster and you get yours back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just super solid.
Creature swap is just a permanent big eye, right off the bat.
And 2 DNA Surgery. I didn't dual Boojans or Noble Knights, so I didn't side this, but
Calling dinos all day.
Calling dinos is basically what I do. If you can go DNA Surgery and then make a Keybeetle, and then later in the duel make a Lagia too, you can make so many Exceeds that just hurt your opponent to a point where they really can't do anything.
Yeah.
1 Dust Tornado. I'd probably play this at 2. I found myself needing this in the Fire Fist matchup because Fire Fist is one of the only decks that you can't just play this again and auto win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I play 2 Overworked. I don't think I'd put this up to 3, but I definitely run 2 Tornado, but it helped me when I had it.
Yes.
It wasn't enough to win me the Fire Fist match in top 8, but it's still a really good card.
Yes.
Soul Drain was just kind of buck standard, especially since it's a continuous trap. And then this is my favorite card. This is literally my MVP of cards in general. This won me a match against Mermails and a match against Heroes because I had Key Beetle and Vanities both games, and they could not play around it.
Yeah.
It was just too powerful.
Anywho, let's show them the Wombo combo.
Okay, so basically, your main combo in this deck, and this is a +2. You need a Kage to Kage, Nikitama, and an Aratama.
Which is totally not hard to get. Basically,
No.
what you need is an Aratama and a Kage, and the next turn you do it.
Yeah, and you can normal summon, double summon, and chain to summon, and then you can search whatever you want, whether it be one of the 2 cards that are actually better to search in this deck.
But in this case, you're going to search for a Nikitama.
Yep, basically a Nikitama.
So that's 1 card in your hand.
Yeah.
You started with 3, you now have 3 on board, and then 1 in hand.
And you can overlay this guy.
Yep.
And he can detach his material to search a Kage. And
Detach Niki, though. You have
yeah,
to.
you have to. And then after your search resolves, this
Nikitama
activates.
will activate on a separate chain link.
And since
draw.
you control Aratama, you get to draw a card.
That's drawing you a card, yes.
So you use 3 cards, you get 3 cards, this goes back in your hand, it's a +2. And then you have a Fair Limp on the board.
So you start with 3 cards, and you win with 5. It's
Yeah.
pretty nutty. And then you just have, like, those cards for future plays. Maybe you drew into, like, a Vanities or Soul Drain or something. So you have the Aratama and Kage for next turn. You have so much other stuff. Maybe you have a Feng Huang in hand, making that the Nikitama useful. There's just so much stuff. Now, there are other variants for this deck, like the one that uses the level 6 spirit that can special summon so you can make Bouncer and whatnot. There's the one that goes like creature swap and then Legacy of Yatagarasu so you can pot a Greed. However, through about a month of testing from 2 parties, we've come to the conclusion that this is the most consistent version, and it just, I don't know, it just works.
To be honest, a lot of this deck is this guy.
All of the deck is that guy.
Yeah, this guy is your center. And any other build that tries, resolve a Hino Kagasuchi or whatever, and if you lose just summoning Aratama and searching, it can get a bit messy because you'll be in situations where you don't have the card advantage to win.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the deck profile. I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Peace.